So monthly, I was probably doing 2 to 3 deals a month, and the average wholesale deal here would probably be from like 5 to 10,000, but I would get lucky and get those big ones. So I've done some for 25,000, 90,000, 30,000, but.
What's up, everybody? Jamel Gibbs here, and welcome to another podcast episode. Today, we have a youngster on the line, but don't get it twisted. He is absolutely crushing it in his market. Now, he comes by way of Baltimore, Maryland, and he started investing when he was 18, fresh out of high school. Even started younger than me because when I started, I was 21 years old, but he figured out the game a little quicker than I did. And partly because he had his cousin backing him up. A lot of you guys probably know who his cousin is, Marcel Humphrey, good friend of mine as well. And he's actually going to be on the podcast as well. But I wanted to reach out to Derrick because he has a unique situation in his real estate investing business. Now, here's a young guy who right now, Derrick is 24 years old, and from 18 to 24. So basically over the last 6 years, he flipped over 50 houses already, wholesaled over 50 houses, made a lot of money doing it. But now he's transitioning into wholesaling and rehabbing properties as well. I know you said that, what was your first deal? $20,000 on your first rehab, was it?
Yeah, my first rehab was about 25,000.
25,000, then you said you did 40?
That will be my next one, but my second rehab, which is the one that's about to settle this month, that'll be for 6 figures.
Yeah, so listen to that. That's exactly. I didn't want him to blow it up too quick, but guess what? This guy is 24 years old, about to get it's going to be over $100,000, a 6-figure check at 24 years old. Now, there's a lot of young guys out here crushing it in the market. I absolutely love that. I love the fact that young guys are coming out and really doing their thing. I started when I was 21. By the time I was 25, I was pretty much well off in the real estate business. But, here's another young guy, come from the same type of background as me, come from Baltimore. I'm from Brooklyn, obviously, but he's in Baltimore, and he took action. Now, let me ask you a question, Derrick. Did you go to college?
Yeah, I did. I didn't finish, though. But
you didn't finish?
I plan to go back and finish.
Now, the difference between me and you, man, I registered for college, but I never went. I didn't go. So that's the difference. But I was a late bloomer compared to you when, you started at 18. I started at 21. But I wanted to welcome Derrick Anthony to the call, guys, and just kind of talk to him and talk to the younger crowd a little bit as well about how to get started investing in real estate. What's going on, Derrick?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me on, Jamel, man. I look up to you a lot, sis. Truly, man, spectacular. I'm happy to be here.
Oh, man, I appreciate that, man. It's, I'm encouraged by you and by other young guys as well, who are out there. You could be doing anything right now, but you choose to do something positive, and also you choose to help others by way of podcasts and education platforms like this as well, man. So it's an honor to have you, man. And, I can see you doing a lot of big things in like your cousin in the very near future, man. So yeah. Why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself? I know we met a few years ago in a mastermind. Yeah. Why don't you tell them a little bit about yourself and how you got started in real estate?
Yeah, thanks. So, pretty much to piggyback off of what you said, you got everything right. But I got started my senior year of high school when I was 18 years old. Pretty much didn't know what school I was going to go to for college, man. I applied to a bunch of different schools. I didn't get accepted into none of the schools I wanted to go to. I was working with my cousin, Marcel, with his seminars and like his information business and stuff like that. And, just helping him out with that. I really didn't know what wholesaling was at the time because I was just more so on that side of the business. However, he told me about wholesaling, jumped into it. First wholesale deal I did was for $25,000. And ever since then,
years old, so you was in high school when you made that $25,000?
graduated high school.
Nice, man.
And that next month, I had a $25,000 check. So from that point
Oh,
on,
everybody, let me give them a round of applause for that one.
yeah,
Round of applause for that one right there.
yeah. So
$5,000 at 18 years old, man. That's what I'm talking about.
yeah, and I had never had a job before. So that was my first time receiving a check. And from that point forward, man, it was like life changing because I'd never seen that much money before. Like, it's crazy. So from that point on, got into wholesaling. Still was helping out with the seminars and stuff like that. That's how I met you down in Tampa. And from that point forward, just kept going. And now I'm getting into the rehabbing, which I like a lot. Still doing some wholesaling, but trying to get my wholesaling business, I would say, like up and going by itself. So I'm more focused on the rehabbing right now until I can build that up and just get that up and running by itself as well. And then,
So let's talk about wholesaling a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So the average 18-year-old don't know how to buy a house. Would you agree?
Yeah, I would.
You had some guidance. You had your cousin backing you up.
Mm-hmm.
How hard was it? Like, what did you do to get your first deal?
Yeah, so for my first deal, I did a lot of cruising for cash. I'm sure you're familiar with that.
Driving for dollars?
Driving for dollars, cruising for cash, yep. So pretty much that's basically you getting in your car, or even if you don't have a car, you could walk in your own backyard, your own neighborhood, and you'll be surprised at how many houses you find that are vacant that you never even paid attention to.
I love that. Hold on. Pause there for a second, man.
Uh-huh.
You said driving for dollars. Most people make excuses, right? Would you agree? Most people make excuses?
Yeah.
What was the next thing you said after that? What can you do if you don't have a car?
Walk. I did that.
Walk for dollars. I love it. So you didn't make an excuse. You turned lemon. You took lemons and turned it and made lemonade, right?
Yeah.
Love it, man. So you found your first. How many leads did it take for you to find your first deal when you were driving for dollars?
Tons, man. I can't even put a number on it. I would drive for dollars literally every single day because I had no money to, do a direct mail campaign or anything like that. So, I mean, tons and tons of leads, maybe hundreds. Because, here, there are tons of vacant houses here.
Yep, Baltimore.
So, yeah. So, I mean, hundreds of leads probably before I came across that one.
Now, once you found those leads, what was the next thing you did?
Once I, went out cruising for cash, took down a house that was vacant, looked up the people, looked up the phone numbers and called them. And if I wasn't able to reach out to them, then I would write up a postcard, which you can literally get from the post office. This is a nugget. It's a postcard you can get for literally, I think like 25 cents or 30 cents or something like that. Yep. But they did sell packs of them, packs of like, I think 100 or something for like 40 or 50 bucks or something like that. And I would hand write the postcards and send them out to them.
Love it, man.
Yeah.
No excuses at all, man. I love that, man. I love that story. You didn't have a lot of money. Too many people, are real comfortable in their situation.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, if you're too comfortable, then you just don't, and you want to succeed at something and you're not pressing to get to where you want to be, then you just don't want it bad enough. You didn't make any excuses. You're 18 years old. You're in high school doing this, and then closed your first deal right after high school, driving for dollars. You didn't have the money for the direct mail campaign, so you just went and bought you spent $50 on a pack of postcards, wrote everybody, and then mailed it out. A little bit of money it cost you. What would you say it cost you for something like that?
Less than $100, maybe.
Less than $100. And what was the return on the investment again? What did you make?
It was $25,000, which is
come on, guys.
100 times over.
$100 does make $25,000. So how many of you, and this is just a rhetorical question for everybody listening right now. How many of you are in a position right now where you feel like you don't have a lot of money and you may be making excuses, right? You're probably making excuses right now, but you don't know what to do. You don't know how to do it. That's why you listen to these podcasts. That's why you go to YouTube. And I teach you everything on YouTube, right? For free. This is free information. But too many people make excuses of why they can't do something rather than just getting out there and getting it done. You spent $100, which you probably didn't have.
No.
And you made 25 grand off of it. Right?
Yeah.
So how did you start rolling into your next few deals?
Well, typically, and this is something Marcel has said a lot, but I've actually noticed, and this maybe just be like the law of attraction. Like, it's really hard to get your first deal, but once you get your first deal, then it's just like it's a rolling effect. So, I mean, it's really hard to say, but it's like once you get your first deal, you close your first deal, now you have some money. So now you can send out those direct mail campaigns. And I continue to do the same thing I've been doing. So just, I would pretty much say just putting that money back into the business and just continue to do the same thing I've been was doing.
So if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right?
Yeah.
Right. So it's been 6 years now. You've done over 50 of these houses. So what would you say you were averaging? How many wholesale deals were you averaging on an annual basis?
So monthly, I was probably doing 2 to 3 deals a month, and the average wholesale deal here would probably be from like 5 to 10,000, but I would get lucky and get those big ones. So I've done some for 25,000, 90,000, 30,000, but those aren't like you won't get those all the time.
Those are home runs. Those are home runs. Right. So I like to call those. So you know, the smaller checks are base hits, but then, you know, every once in a while you're going to get that home run.
Yeah. And those small checks are great.
Add up.
Doing 2 to 3, and you're making 5,000 off each check. Those are great.
Yeah, man. Those definitely add up. Keep the lights on, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So obviously you're starting to make a transition in your business right now. And, you know, you've made some pretty good money, you know, 50, 60 deals or so. You've made, you know, some pretty good money in your business, you know, so you're starting to take that money now and you're starting to get into the rehab. So you mentioned you did one for 25, one for 45, was it? That you're about to close?
40,000.
40,000. And then you got one that you're about to close on for 6 figures. So you're close to $200,000 just in rehabs on your third one.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the rehab process a little bit. So, you know, how did you get started in rehabs?
Yeah. So, it's a funny story. It's something I kind of stumbled across. I used to look at rehabbing like it was a lot of work. Cause, you know, with wholesaling, we're not saying we're not doing any work, but it's the only thing you're doing is getting in touch with the seller, putting the house on the contract, taking pictures, and then sending it out to your list of buyers, and then you have settlement. So it's not like you're dealing with any contractors or anything like that. So I never was looking to get into rehabbing. But I stumbled across, I want to say 5 properties from this one seller, right? And I was able to get the properties dirt cheap, like extremely low, right? So my initial plans was to actually keep the properties and hold on to them and rent them out for cash flow every single month. But there's some things with that as well that, you know, a lot of people don't know.
Right.
So I got the properties and was trying to, you know, I had rehabbed them, and well, the first one I rehabbed, and I was about to get a tenant in there. Then I had, and this is a good thing with having like a mentor or someone around you, because I talked to Marcel and I talked to someone else, and it was like, man, the best thing I think you should do is sell the property, because we looked at the numbers and everything, and I was like, you know what, I think that's what's best. So I ended up selling that property, and I had the second one, which is the one that I'm doing now, and I'm selling that one as well. So back to your question, you said, how did I get into flipping?
So how did you get into it?
Yeah, it was just something I literally stumbled across. Like, I was getting into it
by accident, basically.
Yeah, it was something I was getting into, thinking I'm planning on keeping these properties and, you know, holding on to them, and I decided to sell them. So
now most people, you know, especially at 24 years old, they don't have the money to go out and start rehabbing houses. How did you manage to do that?
Right. That's true. And I didn't have I don't have like And a lot of people don't have $100,000 to sit and to just put into a flip, which is totally fine. Because a lot of people, even if you have if you don't have a lot of money, or you do have a lot of money, a lot of people don't use their own money to flip houses. So I was able to get in touch with a lender who was able to loan me the money to flip the houses because I had got them so cheap. It was a no-brainer.
So is this a private money lender or is it hard money?
Hard money lender.
Hard money lender. Okay, so obviously they wanted some type of points or something, right?
No, I didn't have to put nothing down on the properties.
Wow.
Yeah. Because I got them so cheap. So I didn't have to bring anything to the table. This was someone that Marcel knew someone. He put me in touch with a lady that he thought she was a lender. Turns out she helps people get in touch with lenders. And she charges a fee for that comes out at the settlement. So she put me in touch with the lender. I showed him the properties. Of course, it made sense, and I didn't have to put anything down for that. But that's not normal. So
yeah, it's not normal. So normally you got to bring some type of points to the table. You got to pay closing costs.
Yeah,
and you have to make a monthly payment. But that depends.
But I did have to make a payment every single month. I did have to pay every single month. So but I just didn't have to bring anything to the table, though.
Got it. Okay. So like when I first met my first private money person, that's when I started rehabbing houses. I was about your age right now, probably a little younger. And, my first, the first lender that I was dealing with, she ran a title company in Pennsylvania. And she would lend money to investors. So she would literally put up the money and then just take her profit on the back. I didn't have to make a monthly payment.
Yeah.
Didn't have to pay points or anything up front. She took all her profit when we sold the property. So it was easier on me to get started. But she was more so of a private money individual than a regular hard money lender.
Yeah.
So you're rehabbing houses now. What type of neighborhoods are you looking to rehab houses in at the moment?
Pretty much the two properties that I just rehabbed, they are in a pretty good neighborhood, homeowner neighborhood. But I'm looking to rehab houses where it just has to make sense on the numbers.
Right.
So I don't care if it's a row house, which is because everyone is not sure what a row house is. But those
up north, for those of you who don't know, row houses are basically houses like if you go to Philadelphia,
New York,
anywhere in Pennsylvania. In New York, we call them brownstones in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
But row houses are houses that are basically stuck together all the way to the street.
Yep, and we have a lot of those here. So I'm my first two. Well, actually, the next one is that as well. But I'll do single families as well. But those were just happened to be the ones I came across, and they're in good neighborhoods. So as long as it makes sense on the numbers, then I'll be doing it.
Got it. Now, how much work would you say you're putting into these properties?
So I'm totally rehabbing them. So my first two, yeah, and that's the best way to do it to me because you don't have to worry about something happening. But I totally gutted everything out: new electrical, plumbing, HVAC, roof, windows, everything, and they're nice. And they're my first house was on the market for 7 days. The one I'm about to close on was only on the market for 11 days. So, the market is hot right now.
It is.
And good houses in great neighborhoods, so they sell fast.
Awesome, man.
Yeah.
So, obviously, you're purchasing them cheap. You're buying them right. You're using the same methodology that you would to find wholesale deals.
Yeah.
The only difference is you're focusing on rehabs, right?
Yeah.
On the exit strategy. So, let's talk about, obviously you drive for dollars, you send out direct mail. What type of person are you focusing on to find these good rehab deals when it comes to the target seller?
Yeah. So, of course, and this is for everybody should do this, but you want to target someone who needs to sell, right? Mm-hmm. Not someone that wants to sell or thinks that, they're trying to sell the house, but someone who's in a situation where they just don't want nothing to do with the property. And my first two houses, that was that situation. They belonged to a guy who was in his 70s. He was sick and he was moving out of state. And his daughter, she didn't live here. She wanted nothing to do with the properties, which is why she let them go extremely cheap. So my main focus is someone who's going through a distress situation and just wants nothing to do with the property because they're like they really need to sell it. So they'll let the house go for dirt cheap.
Got it, man. So somebody that, I like to tell people to focus on people that have multiple levels of distress. So maybe, and like you mentioned, maybe they live out of state, maybe they're moving, maybe they inherited the house and the house is getting code violations and they have tax problems on it. Multiple levels allows you to get better deals.
Yeah.
So then you're negotiating. You could obviously, because you're rehabbing, you could pay a little bit more than you would on a wholesale, right?
Right. But I still try to get the houses as if I was wholesaling them, because not every single house is a wholesale deal. Like I had a house that I could have rehabbed, but it's just a lot going on right now, so I just decided to wholesale it.
I love that, man, because you mentioned something that everybody should take note of. Even though if you're rehabbing houses, even though you're rehabbing it, that's what your intentions are. Mm-hmm. You still need to focus on purchasing as if you're wholesaling, because that's just another exit strategy for you. And if you don't wholesale, that's just extra money in your pockets anyway at the end of the day.
Right.
So how are you selling these properties? Are you listing them on the market or?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're using a real estate agent?
Yeah. My mom is actually a real estate
agent. Oh, nice, man. Keeping it in the family. I like that.
Yep. So all of my houses I send straight to her and she lists them.
So your mom sells the houses. It's a family business. I love it, man. And it's taking you in this market. It should take you less than 2 weeks to sell a house, which is ringing true in your market, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
How are you remaining consistent with, like, obviously you're working with contractors. You're not doing the work yourself, right?
Right.
Now, did you ever try to do your work yourself?
Some stuff, like small stuff, but it's not how it looks on TV.
Oh, man, let me tell you. So, like, the reason why I'm asking you that is because my first 3 rehabs, my first 3 houses that I ever purchased in my life, I tried to do the rehabs myself, watching TV, thinking it was easy. Home Depot, I don't know if they sell it anymore, but they used to sell this orange book. Okay. And it was called Home Repair or Home Improvement 1, 2, 3 or something like that. I still have it in my office. And I went through that book, like the first 10 pages, and it was a thick book, but I went through the first 10 pages and I said to myself, man, I could do this. And, man, I mean, it was probably the hardest thing I ever did in my life.
Yeah.
But I smartened up and I realized, look, I got to hire people that know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
So for me, that's how I got started in rehabbing. But it's interesting because you figured out, I'm going to do some small stuff. But now, at such a young age, you know how to handle contractors. You know how to find houses. You know how to exit out of them. And you know how to make money in real estate, man. So another question I had for you was with the contractors, being that they know you're so young. See, me, I was always aggressive.
And you're a big guy.
I was always a big guy. I lift weights and stuff. So being that they know that you're so young, do you find that they ever try to take advantage of you?
And that's a good point. And this is another reason why it's good to have a mentor, because these are actually guys that work with my cousin and that have rapport already. And I knew them before they even started dealing with me.
Nice.
So we already had a relationship and everything like that, which is great.
Love it, man. Keep it in the circle, right?
Yeah.
Love that. So you didn't have a problem with them. You don't give them any money up front, right?
No. So, and this is a great point. You mentioned that because this actually at a wholesale deal like a couple years back where a kid, he had to be like 21, 22, 23. And he received like a huge lump sum check. And he purchased a property that he was looking to flip. And this is something I meant to say, but this ties into it. He bought a house that he was looking to fix up and flip. And he gave a contractor a $40,000 check up front. The contractor did nothing to the house.
Dirty.
And he lost a ton of money and had to sell the house like really cheap. and he was just in a bad situation.
And
Which
then you can't sue the contractor because they don't have anything.
yeah, yeah,
Right?
and I just want to throw that out there. Like if I mean, you might can get into wholesaling without having a mentor. Like you might get lucky and do a deal, but rehabbing has showed me like if you don't know what you're doing or you don't have a mentor or someone that has done this before, like you will really get in a lot of trouble and
Yep.
lose a lot of money. So I like seriously, guys, get with Jamel. I mean, he knows his stuff. Like if you're looking to get into rehabbing or something like that, and wholesaling as well, um, make sure you get with Jamel or get someone that knows the business. Because if you're trying to jump out here and get into flipping houses, like it's definitely not how it looks on TV. And man, you can lose a lot of money like that.
I appreciate that, man. That's a common phrase, a common statement made on a lot of these podcasts I've been doing recently. A lot of the guys who are really successful in what they do, they say the same thing. You have to have somebody show you how to get it done.
Yeah,
I'm a unicorn in a sense where I didn't have someone show me how to do it for like the first 5 years. I was doing deals without someone showing me. But then I met a guy named Steve in Pennsylvania who took me under his wing. And that's when my business went from here to here.
yeah,
Overnight. It was crazy because of the information and knowledge that he gave me. So I definitely agree with that. Having somebody show you how to do it, not reinventing the wheel.
yeah,
A lot of people think that mentors are out here, and don't get me wrong, there are some people out here teaching, and they have no business
yeah.
teaching people how to do it. But mentors are not out here to get anybody. The price tag for mentorship is gonna. And let me ask you this: when it comes to mentoring, and this is right along with what I was gonna say, by the way, the price tag for mentoring, does it outweigh the price that it's gonna cost for you to learn?
Nah, man. And look, let me be totally transparent. No one is going to teach you how to get rich for free. You name me one millionaire that will teach you how to make $1 million for free, and I give you $1 million. Like that's just
for people's time. Why would somebody take time out of their business and out of their day to train someone for free? Some people do it. Don't get me wrong.
yeah. Some
But you
do.
also get what you pay for as well.
Right. And of course, I mean, you have some programs out there that cost anywhere from 10,000 up to 120,000, and that's fine. But you can't look at it like that. I mean, like I said, man, if I didn't have a mentor, I would have easily lost $100,000 on a rehab because you know nothing about how to find contractors,
Right.
permits, procedures, realtors. Like there's a lot of things that go into this rehabbing as well as wholesaling. So how many people pay for school? Like
Yeah.
I know someone that went to college, has their bachelor's, has a master's, and is struggling to find a job right now.
Unbelievable, man.
Which is totally unbelievable. But I mean, if you pay a mentor, someone like yourself, Jamel, who's been in the business for years and years and actually done deals, actually done wholesale deals, and I think you still do deals. Like I just seen you do something the other day.
Yep.
And you're still out in the field. So I mean, it's worth it, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah, and just going back to the contractor thing, I was about your age when I had, I probably, I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna be totally transparent. I had one contractor it was a window contractor. He had to install windows. And that was the first time I ever paid anybody a little bit of money up front.
Mm.
And it was like pulling teeth to find this guy until one day I knocked on his door where he lived, and I had to rough him up a little bit and make him finish the job the same.
Yeah.
He finished that job in 2 hours, man. So I had a strong arm a little bit, but I was just young and aggressive back then.
Yeah.
And I wasn't gonna have nobody, nobody's taking anything from me. So but it worked out to my benefit being that way. And I learned from it, and that's basically what you do when you have mentors. They help you to be able to eliminate that headache of dealing with people. They teach you as you go on. So if we had to give, let's say, a 3-step process for our listeners to get started, what would that 3-step process be?
The first step I would say is do your research just on the business, whether you're looking to do rentals, wholesaling, or rehabbing. I would say go online. We have YouTube, we have Google, like you can look up anything. So just learn what you need to know about the business. The second step would be finding a mentor. So like I mentioned, a ton of times, like getting in touch with someone like Jamel, especially if you're in his marketplace or just anyone. And then the third step would just be to take action because, even though you have a mentor, Jamel's not going to hold your hand the whole entire way. Like you're going to have to put some sweat into the game as well and, show that this is something that you're serious about. So first step would be, looking into the business, learning everything you need to know. Next step, finding a mentor. And then the final step would be to take action.
I like the fact that you said learn the business before you get the mentor. And the reason why I like that, a lot of people, there's nothing wrong with finding a mentor first, but you should know a little bit about the business before you approach the mentor. So then you can maximize the opportunity with the mentor. He's not taking the time to help you learn stuff that you should probably know by the time you get a mentor. So I like the fact that you mentioned that. I never even thought about it that way, but I do like, I can understand that ideology behind that. So definitely take that information that Derrick just gave you and just think about it. We're not on this podcast to try to get anybody into a mentorship program, but you're hearing it from somebody who's been successful for the last 6 years in his business. This kid is 24 years old, about to close a 6-figure deal. And how many of you who are, 25 to, 54 years old have ever done that before? That's kind of what you want to, it's because he has someone showing him how to do it.
Yeah. And
rehabbing as well.
And another thing, like this bad thing with like mentors, because, there are some mentors out there that are taking advantage of people.
Right.
Very unfortunate. But even when you do become successful, like I know you still have you share the same mentor as well at where we were at in Tampa. So and that's what
mastermind group.
Yeah.
So I just joined the mastermind group just the other day.
Yeah. So you're never too big to stop learning or have someone that could show you something different. Because even I had seen some success, but when I came down to Tampa to meet with you guys, I was probably the youngest one in the room, and you all had way more success than me. So you can always keep learning from someone.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So obviously we want to take action. A lot of the listeners right now are probably newer, or they've been in the business for a little while, and they're looking to learn how they can continue to streamline their business. But it really all boils down, like you said, it boils down to learning, finding a mentor, and then taking action. Without the action, you really can't do anything.
Yeah.
Outside of that, right?
Yeah. And as long as you're consistent, like doing something, making calls every day, writing letters or sending out postcards, or eventually something is going to happen.
Yep.
Or it might not happen today or tomorrow, next week, next month. But if you're staying consistent and doing what you're supposed to do, you'll be surprised how stuff just falls in place. Man,
I'm glad you said that, because when I used to work on Wall Street, right before I got into real estate, when I was cold calling, the guy that I was working with, he used to say, try to add something to your business every day. If you can add one thing to your business every day, before you know it, you're going to have a lot of days and a lot of things added to your business, and your business is just going to grow.
Yes.
So just try to add one thing to your, if you find one motivated seller a day, if you drive for dollars, find one house a day.
Yeah.
You just do that and you take action. Eventually it turns into this snowball effect, right?
It does. And for me, when I would cold call, I would be happy when people would tell me no, because I would be like, well, it's just one step closer to somebody saying yes.
Closer to a yes, man.
Yeah. So how you got to look at it.
Perfect, man. Great call. I really appreciate you jumping on the line with us today.
Thanks.
So if you had to give some last minute advice or some words of wisdom to our listeners looking to get started, maybe they're your age, maybe they're a little older than you, maybe they're a lot older than you, what would that word of wisdom be?
Yeah, man. And this comes from me doing the seminars, and I came across like a lot of people who's looking to get in the business. And I would just say, man, get started and don't be afraid to invest in yourself.
I like that, man.
Don't be afraid to invest in yourself because no one else will.
That's right.
If you're not willing to put no skin in the game, man, and you're not willing to invest in yourself, and it doesn't have to even be getting a mentor, but if you're not looking to put your money where your mouth is as far as spending the money for direct mail or to get people to cold call or whatever it may be, you'll never see results. So that would be my last bit of advice, man. Just jump into it and don't be afraid to put your money where your mouth is. And
I love it, man. You heard it from Derrick himself. And the good thing is a lot of guys your age that just graduated college, you know, they didn't second guess going to college, but they'll second guess their education in themselves, right? So the point is, don't second guess your education. You know, you invest. You're going to invest. That money is going to come from somewhere. Either you're going to blow the money, getting a mentor, not getting a mentor, or you're going to get a mentor and not blow the money. You're going to minimize your losses having someone show you how to do it. But the point is, get into wholesaling, get your money up, start rehabbing houses, grow your money, then take that money and build residual income with it. And that's the game plan, guys. If you wholesale, then flip one, wholesale, flip. By the time you get to your fourth flip, you could be able to buy a house cash.
Yeah.
And then you just start rinse and repeat. You do that for 10 years, 5 years, you know, you can literally retire from this business and be well off. No matter what age you are right now. I could see you being done by the time you're 30. I was able to do it by the time I was 30.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so, you know, the whole point is it all starts with taking action. If you don't take action, you won't get the results that you're looking for at the end of the day.
Yeah,
right?
I agree. So
you got social media and you got some links and stuff like that. You know, how can our listeners get in contact with you, Derrick?
Yeah, Instagram is the best way at GQ Derrick. That's GQDERRICK. Facebook, Derrick Anthony on there. And yeah, man, that's pretty much it.
So Facebook.com/Derrick Anthony, and you said GQ Derrick?
GQ Derrick on IG on Instagram.
On IG. Okay, so that's DERRICK?
Yep.
Sounds good. So GQ Derrick on Instagram.
Yep.
And then Facebook at Derrick Anthony.
Yep.
DERRICK. And definitely check him out. He's doing some things in his business, obviously. And I can't wait to see what the future holds for him as well.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. It's been a real pleasure having you. I appreciate you taking the time out. I know you got a lot of things going on, but you know, it's always good to share what you know with others as well. So definitely appreciate that, man. And I'm looking forward to having you on again in the future when you make some more progress.
Yeah.
Seeing what your business is looking like at that time.
Yeah, man. I would love to come back.
Awesome, man. It's been a pleasure having you guys listen to this podcast. Be sure to check it out on any of the major podcast platforms, and also rate this podcast, subscribe to this podcast. Make sure you download it and give it a thumbs up as well. And also, if you're on YouTube, if you're watching this podcast on YouTube, make sure you like this video, subscribe to my channel, click the notification bell, and also leave a comment below. Let me know what you thought about this episode with Derrick Anthony. And if you have any other questions for Derrick, reach out to him on his platforms, and he'll be more than happy to assist you at that point. It's been a pleasure having you guys. I'll talk to you in the next one. Take care.